Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Charlotte County Airport Authority workshop on the selection of an auditing firm. We had 8 companies proposed. It's been narrowed down to 4 by staff. All 4 of them have an opportunity to be interviewed by the board. And we're going to turn this over because it's the Chad show this morning. Mr. Parrish is our CEO is in the audience.
Staff.
So as we get started, I'd like to open up with our Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reminder to turn off your cell phones. Kelly, roll call, please.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Leskovich?
Here.
Mr. Swellen?
Present.
Mr. Carr?
Present.
Mr. Hanzik?
Present.
Mr. Rosenstein?
Here.
Mr. Thornberry?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone, citizen input on the agenda item, which is basically just one. We'll start I'll turn it over to you, Chad. We'll start the interview process and lay out the ground rules.
Yeah, so we have 4 firms that have been shortlisted. The first firm wasn't able to be here in person. They had a conflict. They're at a conference speaking, so we allowed them the opportunity to present virtually this morning. And then the rest of the firms will present in alphabetical order of their firm. And they'll have 15 minutes to present. And once they're presented, the board has the opportunity to ask questions if you do have any additional questions to follow up on. And then once they're complete, we'll go on to the next firm and repeat the process. We do ask for the firms. We don't have a specific location in our facility, in our boardroom. So we will ask everyone to step outside, I guess wait in your cars in the air conditioning while the others present. We'll have someone come out and let you know when it'll be next. So the first firm to present will be Clifton Larson Allen. The next firm will be CBiz, followed by Cherry Beckert, and then HSC Tuscan. That will be the order. So thank you, and Mr. Chairman, turn it over to you.
Okay, well, I guess we'll go ahead and start.
Chris, are you there?
I am here, yes. Yes, good morning.
Okay.
But I don't want to take this over. I just want to do this.
And what was your name again?
I'm Chris Kessler. I'm a principal with Clifton Larson Allen. CCAA.
Thank you.
I'm ready to share my screen whenever you all are ready for me to get going.
Okay,
Chris, you can do that.
go ahead and get started.
All right, perfect. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. As I said, my name is Chris Kessler. I'm the principal with CLA. I lead our state and local government practice for the state of Florida out of our Fort Myers and Naples offices. I also lead our practice for what we call the Sun Belt region, so North Carolina through Texas. So I really appreciate the opportunity to present to you all virtually today. As was mentioned, I'm speaking at a conference today in North Carolina on grants management. Unfortunately, these things are booked 6 months in advance when I get asked to speak on these around the country. But I'm really looking forward to presenting, really looking forward to the opportunity to work with you all. So the fact that you all are able to accommodate me, greatly, greatly appreciate it. So, there we go. So, as I said, I lead our local teams. I would be the engagement principal should we be awarded the contract for the audit services. And what I want to do today is talk through just some quick highlights of our proposal and give you a little bit more color on how we operate, how we do things compared to how things really come across in the strict and formal proposal process of what's in an RFP typically. So a little bit about CLA, if you're not familiar, we are the 10th largest public accounting firm in the country. We are a national firm, we're a global firm, but our United States practice is over 9,000 employees, 130 offices around the country. Our Florida offices are Fort Myers, Naples, Tampa, Lakeland, and Orlando. And a little bit of fun fact about us, we serve over 200,000 clients across the firm. And so that means we serve the most clients of any other firm in the United States. And that's mostly our tax practice, the depth of services we provide there. But what that also means is that your data that is provided to CLA from an audit standpoint is under some of the most secure data security practices of any firm in the country because we have so much, within our systems and within our hands. So from a governmental practice and how it impacts you all at the airport authority, again, we are a national government practice. We have 4,200 governmental entities that are served by our professionals year-round across the country. That includes airport authorities, states, counties, cities, school districts, municipal pension plans, anything and everything within the governmental space. That's what we do. And we have over 600 professionals around the firm that do just that year-round. And it represents over $180 million of our revenue as a firm and is the largest audit practice within CLA by industry. And because we are industry aligned, and what that means is that everybody that will work on your audit, myself included, long ago in my career, 18 years ago, raised their hands and said, I want to work with governments year-round. That is what I'm passionate about. We do not serve governmental entities during downtime during tax season or downtime during auditing 1231, privately held entity, companies, organizations. Everybody within our state and local government practice focuses on governance year-round. And so that means your Florida team is working on Florida audits, 930 year ends and a handful of 630 year ends that are being served within that time period. And when there's non-peak periods of our Florida practice, our teams are working in other parts of the country, working on state and local government audits, state and local government projects. So they're spending 12 months of their year solely focusing on that. And what that means for you all is not only are you're working with a team that's well versed in your operations and what it means to be an aviation authority in Florida, but also they're seeing best practices and things that are done in other organizations around the country that we're able to bring to our clients. It's not you have to do things this way, but it's an opportunity to share other insights and other perspectives that we see outside of just the local markets and the local governmental entities. That really gives you all a wide perspective of what's available to really improve your efficiencies in your operations. From a single audit standpoint, again, showing the level of information that we work with, and for the non-auditors in the room, that the single audit is the audit of your grant dollars, both from a federal and state standpoint, what you spend every single year. And what this means is CLA is serving more entities, more clients, and providing single audit services of those grant dollars than anybody else by almost double of the second largest firm. And so this means two things. It's a heavy part of our practice. Our work papers and our trainings and our processes are very dialed in, are very specific to make sure that our clients are in line with the compliance. And the training our teams get is very specific and very critical. So you're not going to be training the auditors working on your account on compliance. Our teams know the compliance. But this also means that we have the federal and state regulators in our office reviewing our work papers and our audit process more than anybody else as well. So that means our processes, our procedures, our work papers are vetted at a much higher level, ensuring that we are hyper-focused on the compliance that's required, but also that our quality is at a pristine level because we know we have those regulators coming in and looking at things. And as a little fun fact, federal agencies and CLA have been working hand in hand on some of this compliance over the years because of how many we do. And they come to us when they resolved, or what can be provided to some of these firms that are doing single audits that don't have a level of expertise. Some of the student financial aid testing that the Department of Education requires, the corrective action that they provide to some of the smaller firms that don't have the depth of resources, the experience, that are still performing this work and have some quality issues, they borrowed our audit methodology from seeing it in our work papers to provide it to these smaller firms to help them with their corrective action to get them back on track. So that again just shows the level of quality that you get from a grant management and compliance standpoint in a CLA. From an aviation experience standpoint, the proposed engagement team, this is a quick snapshot of the clients that myself and the proposed team members have served either currently or in the past, and you can see it's a wide variety of different sizes of airports, from national hubs down to local FBOs, covering a variety of airline operations, concession operations, PFC testing and compliance on the FAA. So the team that you have will have significant experience in understanding your operations and what it means to operate as an airport authority. From an audit approach standpoint, at the end of the day, the audit opinion that all firms today are going to provide, it's going to look the same on paper, different letterhead, different signature, but the opinion will be the same. The key here, at least as we look at it, is how you arrive at that opinion. What happens under the hood when we get in and do the work? And we have an audit methodology that we call our seamless assurance advantage. And really what that means is that we're effectively utilizing technology. We're taking insights through analytics. We're not just going to come in and just test the same kinds of transactions because we've tested those every single year. We're going to really run your data, your general ledger data, through the analytics, look at KPIs, look at trends, look at relationships to find where the risks may be and address the specific either anomalies or differences from year to year in looking at the transactions. We also want to make sure that technology is used not only from an analytics standpoint, but in managing the audit process from start to finish. We utilize what we call our Assurance Information Exchange, which is a portal-based system where your typical audit request list that maybe used to be in an Excel, and you're sending emails back and forth to your auditors throughout the year and updating the Excel when you submit a bank reconciliation or invoice requests. That traditional Excel is inlaid with the portal, so everything is live in the moment. You all are able to see what we have requested, and you all are able to upload those particular files to that request in the portal. So the September bank rec goes to item 101 for the September bank rec. You see when it was uploaded. We accept it when it's been looked at, audited, and so you know where we are in the process as well. And during the audit, during the year, you all will get updates from that system telling you what's open. If there's things that are past due, you'll get those emails tracking those, but it also allows you to see what sort of questions or open items may still exist from us as we work through the audit process. It's a really neat tool, and our clients really love using it, and it just keeps things out of the email and keeps files from being missed in translation, which is great. So our commitment to the airport authority, first of all, we believe in timely and consistent communication throughout the process, and we know that's the foundation of a successful relationship. For any of my clients that have worked with me, they'll probably tell you that we may over-communicate because we know that's the key. We'd rather just check in and say, hey, how are things going throughout the year so that we know where things stand, and you know that we're there to help whatever that may be, whether it's just checking in on the audit status or just seeing what is going on within your operations or anything that's giving you concern around your mind. We want to make sure that we're having those conversations throughout. The timelines, we understand, are critical for any governmental entity in order to meet state requirements, debt compliance, grant compliance requirements, whatever it may be. So we're going to be collaborative in planning and establishing work plans and schedules. Obviously, we can't audit something that isn't ready to be audited, so we're not going to sit and say, here's when we're starting the audit, whether you're ready or not. We have to work together on that. We want to make sure that is in place well ahead of time, so we all know what we're shooting for, both at the start and the end goal of when the audit is going to get completed. And then we're going to make sure we're tracking those commitments using those tools I talked about previously, so everybody knows where we are in the audit process at all times. with all of our clients, that we're going to respond to emails and phone calls within 24 hours. And that's not just me, that is the entire audit engagement team that is working with you all. Now that response may be, I can't get to this right now, I'll get back to you by the end of the week, or I'm going to do some digging on this research, give me a couple days and I'll get back to you. But we're never going to leave you on unread or heard your voicemail unanswered until we have a chance to get to you. We always want you to know that we're thinking of you and that we're working with you on whatever you need with that. We also commit to meeting all deadlines, of course, and we commit to the continuity of staff. Now, of course, our team may get advanced and responsibilities change. People do leave the firm from time to time for a variety of reasons, and of course that will happen. But outside of those exceptions, we want to make sure that the team that knows you, that you all learn and understand and work with, are there with you throughout the year, so you know who your partners are throughout the process and whatever you may need, and so you're not retraining staff every single week when new faces are coming in under our operations. So quickly, I'll just transition. We understand transitioning auditors is challenging. It adds a level of complexity to things, but we've transitioned clients from your current provider in the past, and we know, we're a larger firm, and we're going to ask for more things, and we're going to dive deeper into certain things. And you're going to feel like you've been audited, but we think that's a good thing. I think you're going to see that the audit process, you may feel that you've been audited, but it's going to give you some good results, and you're going to feel that there's been a deep dive and things have been looked at throughout the process. And so we do that in a couple of ways. We've hit on these a little bit in the previous slides, but proactive planning, we're not going to start on, at the end of the fiscal year or October 1st and say, okay, now let's get into the 930 numbers. We're going to start planning well in advance to build that audit plan and understand what happened during the year and what you expect to happen for the rest of the year. We talked about clear and open communication. That's critical. That's going to have to happen throughout the audit process. Our team is going to understand your industry. They're going to understand airports in Florida, and the team's going to be experienced. They're experienced in auditing, they're experienced in auditing state and local government entities, and you're not going to have a team of interns running in on day one that don't know what they're doing and you're having to train. The folks will hit the ground running, and you'll have that confidence that we're there to really look at your operations, not get a lesson in Gatsby accounting or the compliance. We want to make sure that the team comes in focused on you and what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. And so just to conclude, I mean, we talked about, all of these things throughout, but there's, if there's any differentiators, I really believe it's these, right? We have the staff continuity from our local teams that are going to know you and know governmental operations. You're going to have a high level of manager and principal involvement, especially in year one, where we're getting to know you all and really make sure that we're covering our bases. I like to say you only get a first opportunity, a first impression once, and that's year one. You can't miss anything. We can't in year two say, we didn't do a deep enough dive, or we didn't build our procedures correctly. Year one, we have to be fully in. You're gonna see that and know that in year one. The service is going to be proactive communication and strong project management with our team throughout. You're going to hear from not only your engagement team, but national leaders across the firm on leading practices and recommendations, whether it's technical accounting compliance or just internal control operations, best practices, things you could be doing differently. Commitment to timely quality service by leadership. That includes myself, both as an engagement principal, as a leader of our Sunbelt practice, as well as our national practice as well. We're going to have a smooth transition for all the reasons we talked through with proactive planning and understanding your business. And it's going to allow for quality services that will ultimately result in a completed, timely audit that meets all of your requirements and all at the same time lets you all know that the audit has been performed at a high level. And the presentation that comes after that really supporting that. So really looking forward to the opportunity to work with you all again. I do want to say thank you for the opportunity to present, particularly the accommodating presenting virtually here. But I believe that my 15 minutes is either approximately up or about to be. So I would love to pass it over to you all for questions, comments, or anything that I can do to answer about CLA or our proposal.
Okay. Any questions from the board of Mr. Kessler? I have one. Looking at your client list, apparently you have had experience with a number of different FAA regional offices?
Yes, yes. And the client list is a firm? Yes.
Do you find any differences on their responses to your audits?
Responses to the audits, no. The FAA doesn't, typically they don't deal with us unless the audits show a significant issue or something that they need to dig into. We interact with them on various things like audit confirmations or, sometimes there will be requests for reports, but typically unless there's findings or significant issues, we don't deal much with the actual regional offices themselves. Unfortunately, our clients have been generally clean, and so we haven't had a lot of experience in having to do that.
Okay. Chad? Okay. Thank you, and good luck on your presentation today, and we'll get back to you as soon as we make our decision. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
While we're waiting for the next bunch to come in, we each have a grading sheet. So after we
Yes,
listen,
CBiz is next.
after we listen to everybody, you can grade them, and you may want to grade them, and then we'll have a discussion on any of them and make a recommendation for the staff, I guess, to enter into a contract. It's for a 3-year deal.
Hi. Hello. Welcome.
Good morning.
You can go up to the podium.
CBIZ.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
It's just a presentation.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and your corporation and start your presentation.
Alrighty. Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brandon Lopez. I'm a partner with CBiz, and we appreciate the opportunity today to present and provide you a little bit more information about who we are as a firm and how we believe we can bring the most value to the authority.
I'm Nicholas Martin, Senior Manager with the firm.
Alrighty, we'll get started. So a little bit about who we are, CBiz. We're a national firm servicing over 21 major markets. In the last ranking, we're the 7th largest firm in the nation, servicing different industries, different practices. But the team that we've put together here today and in the proposal is a very specific team because we're the ones that service the government industry. We're fortunate enough to be part of a national firm that lets us be in this practice year-round. Some other firms, you might be working in governments for a portion of the year, non-for-profits, commercial. But because of the breadth of clients that we have in the industry, we were able to focus early on in our career and make that choice. And that's kind of how the firm has decided to go about their approach in industries. Is very early on in your career is like, what is it that you want to be an expert in? What do you want to be focused in your career so you can provide that value to your clients? So everybody, Nick and I, myself, in the proposal, this is what we do year-round, 365 days, except a couple of days that they let us take vacation. And we're all local. We have, in just the Florida region, we have our offices in Tampa, St. Pete, West Palm, Boca, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And the team that we've put together here is based out of Tampa. And in the government practice, nationally, we service over 600 government entities a year, over 200 federal and state single audits. So we're very well versed in government entities, regional airports, and especially in single audits when we're looking at the compliance testing. Because when we're doing an audit, we're doing a financial statement audit, but we're also doing a compliance audit with the federal guidelines and the state guidelines. And the approach that we take as a team and as a firm, it's really one of a relationship with our clients. It's not we're here for the audit, 2 months, we'll see you next year. The approach that we take is having that open communication year-round. Whenever there's a new transaction, whenever there's a new GASB implementation, whenever there's something that we all want to get our eyes on and take a look at, we're available in person, in meetings. So that way, when it comes time for the audit, we've already kind of gone through it together. We're all on the same page, so it just makes the whole process more efficient and effective. And as you'll see in the later slides, the price that we put together, it's an all-inclusive fee. We don't charge extra for those assistants, those implementations, those questions that we have. So why CBIZ? You're going to be meeting with many different firms, I'm sure, all qualified. But what sets us apart, right? What makes us different? And I always like to call it the VIP approach: value, innovation, and productivity. I guess it doesn't want to stick on that one. There we go. All right. So value. We're a national firm, like I mentioned before, resources of a top 7 firm in the nation. But that local approach, we're here in Florida, we're here in Tampa. We understand the Florida market, because when you're working in the government industry, like I mentioned before, it's very compliance-based, right? So you need to understand the area that you're working in, the industry that you're working in, the laws and regulations. And like we mentioned before, and we have in our proposal, all the local governments that we audit, the regional airports that we audit here in Florida as well. And then we're working on a team that's here in person, that could be here to get things done and here to have those meetings and conversations. Innovation, we audit in a paperless environment. More and more over the last several years, things are electronic, right? The information that's being processed is through systems and through these IT modules that we need to make sure are secure. We need to make sure that we can audit around those systems and that we can rely on those systems. And we'll get into that a little bit later. We have an IT risk management department, part of our firm. We don't subcontract that out. They've worked with us for over 10 years in the government industry. So when we're getting that understanding of the IT environment and how that relates to the audit, that team works seamlessly with us, and then also with the management team as well internally. So you're not having to deal with different companies and different vendors. All of it is done by our team internally. And then obviously, the information that we're looking at. It needs to be, it's very sensitive information, so we want to make sure it's being transferred securely. And we have a portal called SureLink that it's a secure transfer portal, but what it also does, it provides a real-time update on the audit. We have our listing, and it provides on a real-time basis, are we 50% done, are we 80% done, are we 90% done with the audit? So at any point in time, whoever has access, we know where we're at. And what our clients love is not just it holds, them accountable, but it holds us accountable as the audit firm, because everything is time-stamped. So if we made a request and management's providing it to us, what did we do with that and when? Did we hold it for a week and not do anything? Did we process it the next day? So it keeps everybody accountable and on track to meet deadlines. And then the last one, P, productivity, price. The fee that you see here, like I mentioned before, it's an all-inclusive fee. There's no extra fees for travel. There's no extra fees for an implementation of a new standard, phone calls throughout the year. When we put together a price, we take a look at the industry, we take a look at the client itself, and our experience with auditing these types of entities. And when we put together that fee, we want to make sure that we can provide value to the organization. And then the last one that you see there is we also provide free CPE training to all of our clients. Every year in the month of October, which is actually coming up now, we have our annual CBIZ Government Symposium, where every Tuesday and Thursday, we provide 1 to 2 hours of CPE training. So we go through GASB updates, any updates in the single audit space and the governmental accounting, and we do that every year. So that's provided to all city management of the organization. So the members of the team that you see on this proposal, we start with myself. I would serve as the engagement partner. I've been with the firm and in the industry for over 15 years. And like I mentioned, early on in my career is when I made that choice to kind of go into the government industry so I could be that expert, that partner for my clients. The next individual you see here, Moises Ariza, he is actually the national practice leader for the government practice, and he's based out of Tampa. And he would serve as the quality control partner. And what's important about this designation is that sometimes when you're working with national firms, the final decision maker, the one that sets the policies and procedures, the one that sets the guidelines to audit an industry, it's usually done by somebody outside the region. Moises Ariza serving as that national practice leader, he's the one that makes those decisions, and that's here in-house part of that team. So we don't now have to go back and ask somebody else, when they're reviewing a file, or can we issue because we got this deadline. This is all done with our team in person, and that's a big value. Joe Lane, he's the IT risk partner, and him and his team is the ones that are going to take a look at the IT environment and IT controls, and again, in-house, part of our team. And then we also have Nick Martin.
Thank you, Brandon. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm Nicholas Martin, audit senior manager with the firm. I've been with the firm for a bit over 10 years. I predominantly service governmental entities across Florida for the vast majority of the year, and I'd be serving as the audit senior manager on the engagement.
And then we're also, our supervisor would be like the in-charge is Elda Santoro, which is also part of our Florida government team. All right, so one of the things that we've talked about is our, being national firm, national practice, and its experience, right? And being able to say that on a yearly basis, we serve over 600 government entities and performing over 200 federal and state single audits, that's just a testament to that. And in our proposal that we had submitted earlier, in there we included reference letters outside of the specific references, and we truly think that that speaks volume to the value that we bring to our clients, because when they put pen to paper, that's when you really know that what we're doing something right. And here's just a listing of our current and recent government clients. So these are the ones that we're actually servicing across just here in the Florida region and some of our other agencies up in the Northeast. And that listing was also included in the proposal as well. And then these are the specific references that we highlighted as part of the proposal, working with the city of Fort Myers, doing some work with Tampa, and then some of the regional airports that we service as well. And that's just the 5, and there's also more in the listing. So the audit methodology, I'm not going to bore you too much and get too technical, but the reason why I highlight this is we break it down to 4 phases, but the most important phase is that planning phase, because that's where we take our knowledge when we service other entities, other governmental entities, other airports, right? Because we understand the lease transactions with GASB 87. We understand the PPP arrangements that these types of organizations enter into. We take that knowledge and experience and then apply that to the authority, right? Because every agreement, every transaction has its own little intricacies. So during that planning phase, that's where we're getting an understanding of the processes. We're taking a look at the agreements, and we kind of set up our audit plan, which I like to call it's like our recipe, right? That we're going to follow step by step to perform our procedures. And then we get into the execution, evaluation, and ultimately the reporting. But that first phase, especially year 1, is the most critical and the most important, because without that understanding, you can't audit what you don't understand. But because of that experience that we have in the government industry, that makes that process a lot smoother. And IT, I know I keep harping on this, but it's so important because more and more we're auditing in that paperless environment, all these systems working together. So when Joe and his team come in, what are they looking at? We're required to get an understanding of the general IT controls, and especially over the financial models. Who has access? How is that access granted? How is it removed when someone's terminated or employed? Making sure that those processes are being followed, because without that, how can we rely and be comfortable with the audit that the support that we're getting? So based on that is when we tailor our audit approach, right? If we can rely on this, we'll audit it this way. If we can't rely on this one, but we can rely on this one, what other technologies or things can we use to kind of get to the final endpoint? Last but not least is the quality control system. Like I mentioned before, Moises Ariza, as the national practice leader, he would serve as that quality control. And every engagement that we have, there's always 2 partners. It's the engagement partner and that final quality control, final set of eyes. So making sure that at the end of the day, what we're issuing and presenting is the final product that's in compliance with the standards and it meets all the guidelines. And we get that done by following our processes and meeting the deadlines with our clients. And the last item in our proposal is the price. And like I mentioned before we even respond to a RFP, we take a look at the client, we take a look at our resources. Do we have the expertise and the knowledge to bring value to the client, and can we meet their deadline? Before we even put together this proposal, we already know can we or can't we. So when we put this price proposal together, we took our experience and our knowledge of auditing these types of entities, our resources, and what can we provide that value to the client. So that fee here that you see here, it's an all-inclusive fee. You don't, because there's a new implementation here, here's a out-of-scope service. Oh, you called me, a couple times throughout the year, here's some additional billings. What you see here is what you can expect to budget for and expect to pay on a yearly basis, and that's what we commit to. So I know I went through a lot in a short amount of time, and I think I hit that time pretty well, so I appreciate the opportunity. I hope you learned a little bit more about, who CBIZ is and about how we can bring the most value to the authority. So open it up to any questions that you might have.
Any questions from commissioners?
Brandon, I have a question for you. One, thank you for your presentation today. If I heard you correctly, you're saying that the fee that you put up on your screen here is an all-inclusive fee.
Yes, sir.
But I see on the presentation as well, then we have an hourly rate being billed.
Yes, so part of the proposal, it asked us for a fee, and then if there were any additional services, they required us to say, what would you bill us for at? So this would be anything that's not a financial statement audit. So say you needed us to do an agreed upon procedures for something completely different, this is the hourly fee that we would commit to. But for the financial statement audit, that is the fee, there's nothing else.
So if we needed something done outside of the scope of the audit financial services.
Correct.
That's where the hourly rate would be.
Exactly, and we have to commit to that price. So in 2, 3, 4 years from now, even if, costs have gone up, that's the price that we commit to for this term.
All right, and Nick, would you be the one actually doing the audit for us?
Yes, that's correct. I would be leading the engagement team on the day-to-day and dealing with the direct contact from the financial team.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
And just to clarify, that includes the passenger facility charge audit, the single audit, and then the overall.
That is
lands
correct,
audit.
yeah, the single audit, all the compliance testing that gets part of that financial package. And that's what I mentioned before, when we're doing the financial statement audit, because it's a governmental entity, we have to follow government auditing standards. So because of that, in the back end of the report, you see all these compliance reports that are commingled into it. So that price that you see there takes that whole picture into account.
Okay, hearing nothing further, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And, before the next group comes in, and Chad, James, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually when you're looking for professional services, you select them based on their proposals and their expertise, experience, and all that, not on cost.
Sure.
More than likely, all 4 of these people that we're talking to can do the work. And
Because the scope and everything was so much identified, it was a request for proposal, so that price is a component of the overall solicitation.
so you're asking us to consider price as part of
You
our
can, yes,
evaluation.
you can,
We can, but we don't have to.
correct.
They
They
didn't
did
talk
not.
about it.
They were all pretty competitive.
Yeah, they're all in their proposals, so.
We gotta get a copy of that proposal, the first one?
It was emailed, but I can,
Because I didn't see anything in the pricing.
okay,
Yeah,
I can
but-
let you know.
Yeah.
Copy of the proposal?
We were talking about the first one, but yes.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi. Sorry, my eyes are still adjusting from being outside. How's everyone doing today?
We're doing well.
Fantastic. Do you just want us to go ahead and get started?
Just go right ahead, introduce
Perfect.
yourselves and your firm, and we'll go from there.
That sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having us here today. We are Terry Becker. My name is Lauren Strope. I am a partner that has been serving local governments, specifically airport authorities, the entirety of my career. I'm very excited to talk to you today about how we can help you.
And hi, my name is Jeff Zeichner, and my role, if selected, would be the concurring reviewer, which is largely a quality control role. But as you can see, I have a lot of airport experience in my background. Tampa Airport to your north was a long-term client of mine. I worked with Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale quite a bit. But I've also worked with a lot of smaller airports, similar to your size. I'm currently working with Vero Beach and St. Augustine. And I'll tell you what really brings me joy about serving airports is not just auditing. I think in general at this point in my career, I really like to add value when I can. And I've been with some airports that have had some hard times. I've been there during some cyber incidents. I've been there when the governor's removed 3 of the 5 board members. I've been there when executive directors have been removed. And being with a large, sophisticated firm, I often have the opportunity to bring in additional resources to support it and really add value that goes beyond just issuing an audit opinion. And that's really what brings me joy in this part of my career.
All right, well, it's not just us. We have hand-selected an engagement team for you consisting of many different members. We'll just kind of go over some of them real quick. Neil would be the IT partner and would help out in review of your systems. We have Brian Harmon and Albert Ong, who both have significant airport experience. Matthew Carr also has significant experience with airports and with local governments. But I did want to mention some of our additional resources. So Brian Liffick is a partner for the Florida Public Sector that is in our Orlando practice. We have Scott Anderson, who actually served on the GASB, so served as the standard setter, who has come back to our firm. So he provides a lot of useful information for our clients, particularly as it relates to implementations of new standards. And then finally, I did want to mention Jim Holman. He's a director in our digital advisory practice and actually has quite a few different airport clients where he works on things such as process development and digital solutions and dashboarding and things of that nature. So we could always bring that to the table as well. All right, so a little bit about us. There's a lot of really good information around here that touts how awesome we are, but I really want to drive home what does that mean for you and how does that help you, right? So we are a digitally driven, industry-aligned firm, and we really try to help middle market organizations succeed. We can provide all things beyond just the regular audit, including internal control review, process improvement, cost allocation, digital analytics, dashboarding, all of those types of things. So in addition to your core audit team, you have access to everyone who works for our firm as well. Okay, so it's not just me.
Oh, it's you.
Okay. Got it. Perfect. Okay, so just a little bit more about us. I did want to mention that we have performed single audits of over billions of dollars, particularly the AIP program and then the state of Florida's airport improvement program. So we have significant experience with the types of grants that you receive. Additionally, we are well aware that airports are very unique, and that's why I love working on airports. Yes, you are a local government. Yes, you have to follow GASB. Yes, you have single audits, but you very much have a for-profit focus. And we've been attending AAAE and AAIA for years now, and every time I'm just very shocked by how unique the industry is. But we understand that, and we are ready to come to the table to serve you. I did it again. Okay, perfect. So this is a snapshot of some of our airport experience. A lot of these clients you have seen in the proposal that either myself or Jeff work on. So you can see a lot of different clients both in Florida and outside of Florida. We have small hubs, medium hubs, large hubs, pretty much everything you can imagine in an airport, we have performed the audit there. Anything to add?
No, I think that's great.
Perfect. And I'm going to kick it over to Jeff to go over the audit approach.
Thank you. You keep the clicker because I will push it once and it'll skip right to the questions. So in terms of our audit approach, there's a lot of words in this slide, and I'm not going to go word for word by them. But what really we harp on and what is important to us is transparency during the audit process so that all of the stakeholders understand where we are exactly, where we are, what's needed, how close are we to finishing, are there any problems, have we discussed them, have we resolved them, so that when we get to the end, really there's a no surprise audit. So when we get to the end to deliver on a timely basis according to your timeline, there are no surprises at the end. So to do that, we employ a number of tools. We do a lot of planning, robust planning. We also use a certain portal to share files and to track the progress of our audit. And we can give anyone we have at our clients access to this. So in real time, you're able to pull up this tool and see this, and see where we are, and see what's open, and see what's due. We also supplement that typically with regular status meetings So sometimes on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, depending on what cadence works for our clients, we sit down and we go through that tracker, that project tracker, that milestone calendar, and we just say, review it to see where are we in the process. Are we on track? Are we falling behind? If we're falling behind, what do we need to reorganize to get back on track? What do you need help with? So we just harp on communication and transparency and planning so that when we do get to the fieldwork stage, that work's really minimized because we've already done our interim work, we've done our planning, we've done our risk assessment, so that when we get to that crunch time, when you're trying to close your books and issue your statements, we really try to minimize the amount of work during that window, so it's just wrapping up the procedures, because we obviously know it's the busiest time of year for you and it's the busiest time of year for us, and we want to make it as easy as possible. We share our reports early, we share drafts for your review, and particularly if there are comments or findings, we have a chance to discuss them. Because oftentimes auditors get them wrong, and oftentimes auditors come to a conclusion that hasn't fully been vetted. So we make sure that we get those things out in front of you quickly to review and discuss before we finish. And this is my favorite slide because you can see by the color of my hair, I am the wrong person to be talking to you about technology and innovation. But my role, I do have a responsibility for this, and I do understand these tools. But the important part is that Cherry Bekaert has really invested heavily in technology and audit innovation because it does a few things. It improves audit quality, and it also improves efficiency so that we're doing less detailed testing. We're asking for less invoices and relying more on AI and other tools that can do data analytics and really see trends and see where the risks could be. MindBridge is a great tool. It's an AI tool that we use to we'll dump your entire general ledger into it. And we can set certain risk standards and it will analyze each transaction to determine which ones are riskier. And it'll spit out a risk score. And then we can identify certain transactions that we want to look at individually with the human eyes to pick out things that might be wrong. SureLink is the tool I was describing earlier. This is the tool we use to communicate, to transfer files, and to keep our milestone calendars on, our project trackers. Data Snipper, idea are great. Data Snipper works with Excel. It visually recognizes invoices and documents, so it can do it automates a lot of our audit process. Active Data and idea are both computer-assisted audit tools. But really, again, I'm the wrong person to be discussing these in detail. But my role is really to encourage people to use them and encourage people to experiment. Experiment in a smart way, not in a dumb way. But I want to encourage innovation. And it's really the people working under me that are capable of doing that. So I want to encourage them to experiment and try and come up with new ways of doing things. And the reason for that is not just to improve the audit quality or to improve the efficiency, which it is. In my opinion, the real value is not just being innovative, it's having a culture of innovation. Because if you really have a culture of innovation, your firm is a lot more resilient. We can deal with changes quickly, things that surprise us, or things, things that happen, say the pandemic, shut everything down within a very short period of time. But because we had a culture of innovation, we adapted very quickly. And we had very little downtime. We shifted because we are an innovative culture. And to me, that's the real value of encouraging my teams to be innovative and to use these tools and experiment.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
So again, we're very experienced in transitioning from other audit firms, whether they're from larger national firms or smaller local firms. And again, very similar with our audit process, our focus is on transparency, communication, and planning. We will get with you early. We will talk to stakeholders, we'll talk to management, we'll talk to those who are charged with governance. And we want to understand your concerns and what your risks are, what you think could go wrong. We'll meet with your predecessor auditors and get their input. And then we'll sit as a team and we will plan and we will schedule and we will make sure it's a transparent process, again, to you so that you will understand where we are in this process. And I think we've been very successful in transitioning many clients to our audit methodology, whether it be from a large national firm or from a smaller local firm. One more. And the last thing I'll talk about is that we are very proactive and to make sure that your team is educated and has access to the materials to keep you current with the standards. we want to make sure that you are not surprised by any audit procedures or any new accounting standards that are coming. So when there are new standards that are implementing, now this year we're implementing the compensated absence standard, as well as the 102, the disclosures, concentrations and contingencies. And then 103 will be next year, a new financial reporting model, which shouldn't affect the airport. But when these things come along, we don't want your team to be surprised by that, and we want you to be prepared for it. So we have a lot of things that you will have access to as clients of Cherry Bekaert. We do a lot of live training. We just finished one in August, 8 hours of governmental CPE. We have a large catalog of webinars. We put out white papers. We publish articles, all of which you will have access to as clients of Cherry Bekaert. And that's because we do not want you, we want you to make sure you're educated. We want to make sure that you understand the standards that are coming down the line and that you're prepared to implement them. And we can address that quickly. And that being said, I'll kick it back to you to wrap up.
All right, so the question we were really asked to present on is why choose Cherry Bekaert? There are a lot of words on this slide, but simply put, we are experts at auditing airport authorities. We have experience in everything you have, from your grants to your PFC program to your overall financial statements. We are active in your industry, and we have a lot of clients that we can use to benchmark against. As a firm, we seek to understand you, and we want to make your success our mission as well. We want to provide a one-firm solution to you, meaning in addition to audit, if there's ever anything that comes up, we want to be able to handle it. Again, our mission is your success. And simply put, I think you should pick us because we care. And with that, we'll take any questions that you might have.
And we're really nice people to work with.
We are nice people, I promise, even though I can't run a thing. But, and with that, any questions you might have, we'd be happy to help address.
Go ahead, but, go ahead.
Well, you can go first.
How long has the firm been in business? For over 77 years.
I was going to say 76, but I was probably less than that last year.
Yes.
Do you do many airports?
Yes, we do. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we had a list in the presentation. It's also in the proposal of our airports. Currently, we're doing a number throughout Florida, including Miami-Dade. Was the largest, I think it's the second largest in the state now. I'm working on St. Augustine currently, Vero Beach. You're in Fort Wayne.
I am in Fort Wayne. I do the Piedmont Triad Airport Authority. I'm actually hopefully going to issue the new Hanover County Airport Authority tomorrow. So,
Wow.
And
yes, ma'am.
As a partner in another firm, I was the audit partner on Hillsborough, the Tampa Airport, the Jacksonville Aviation Authority. I was the audit partner on Broward County, which included Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale. And I've been a reviewer on Palm Beach International, so I've had quite a bit of experience as well.
I noticed, like for Sarasota Manatee, 2009 to 2018, is there a lot of turnover? I guess I'm curious as to why you wouldn't be still doing their auditing, and is there a lot of turnover in the industry with that?
I wouldn't say there's necessarily a lot of turnover, but just based on the, every 5 years, most of our clients complete the RFP process, and every now and then there are changes as a result of that. But as you can see, some of the clients we've had for an incredibly long period of time. So for Miami-Dade, for instance, they've been a client of mine since 2013, 2014. Norfolk has been a client of ours since 2009. So we have quite a few long-term clients as well.
And then I think my longest serving one, I was the audit partner on the Tampa Airport for 2 cycles. And then I left that firm and came to Cherry, and I'm pretty sure they're going to come with me. So I'm pretty hopeful about that. But again, just like you're doing now, you're going through the auditor selection process. Every governmental entity goes through the selection process, and sometimes after 1, 2, 3 cycles with a client, the audit committee or the board feels like it's time for a fresh set of eyes. So it's just sort of a natural progression that you might select a different auditor after so many years.
Where does the name of the company come from, Cherry Bekaert?
2 of our founders. It was their last names.
And I just caught it, maybe you didn't catch it, but the slide before the last, you said, put that up again.
Sure. I'm going to try my best.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
If you look on your slide, you just missed it, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're in the right place.
Oh, okay.
Seek to understand Naples Airport by making your success our
I
mission.
apologize for that.
People do read this stuff.
I understand. I apologize.
It's not criticism, but I just happened to catch it.
No, I appreciate you pointing that out.
Okay.
We did miss that. Sometimes they slip on us.
You're not going to understand it.
You have eyes like an auditor.
How far back do you go in Tampa? You said you're there 2 cycles?
Oh, the Tampa Airport.
Yeah.
So I was a partner at a different
firm,
national
okay.
firm. I was the partner that won it. Probably, it ended in 21, so it probably would have been 5 years before 21.
Okay.
So we probably won it in 16. And then before I left that firm, I won it again for another 5 years. So they re-engaged just after that. But still have strong relationships out there, still talk to those guys. It's a really well-run airport.
Yes, it is.
Their CEO and their CFO are great. I know Joe is retired. I'm not sure if their CFO is going to stick around, but boy, I was their auditor through that whole contract, that $800 million expansion they did with the, and I can tell you a quick funny story about that. So you're familiar with that. They built that consolidated rental car facility out there, and they had, because Tampa is locked in West Shore, they're really compressed for room, so they needed more parking, so they built it away from the airport, and they have an APM that runs between it. So on the grand opening, they had it running a little too fast, and they had a grand opening that the governor came to. It was Governor Scott at the time, and they had a big party out in the consolidated rental car facility, and they brought everybody out there in APMs, and of course there was music and drinks. And when they were bringing people back to the terminal on the APM, there were several people that fell because it was going too fast. So they had to re-engineer it and slow it down.
The reason I asked, I go back to a guy by the name of George Bean. Remember that name?
I do remember that name.
I'm an old guy. Been around a while.
But it's a wonderful organization.
Yeah.
It's just been run tremendously.
And
Okay.
unless I missed it, where are you guys based out of? What-
Our office.
Tampa.
Your offices?
Tampa.
Tampa.
Tampa, okay.
Any other questions? Chad, you got anything?
No.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
You're not going to miss this one, Lauren. Keep that there.
Thank you.
Were you able to get all the numbers for Steve?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
There's 4 total. So here's, should have this form. We're supposed to rate them. Yeah. So here's our 4 here. Yeah. And then we'll rate them. Absolutely.
See, Chad got you all the numbers of all the
I think Sean wanted to know.
I'm being the best.
Well, I'm not worried about the numbers.
No.
I was just asking because he put them on his slide there.
slide, yeah.
They were all pretty
No,
competitive.
they were like, if I remember, like with
Cherry
10
Becker.
grand
They're all
each
the
other.
same.
Yeah.
Chad, is there any major difference between their pricing?
No, they're
It's all
all,
within a small deviation?
they are, yeah.
10 grand or something like that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, last year. Matter of fact, you remember Jeff was here and he mentioned they had just, I think he is, but he's not.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Good morning. How are you guys?
Doing well.
So, my name is Ryan Schuster. I'm from HSC Tuscan and Company. You might have been expecting Jeff today. I'm standing in for him. He's in Italy for his 35th wedding anniversary,
Wow.
so had
Well,
that
he
planned for
thought
a
that was
while.
more important, huh?
I tried to tell him to come back, but
Could have appeared by video.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, speaking in Italian.
I'll try to keep it brief. I've sat through 3 of these now, so I'll try to keep it sweet for you guys. So as you know, we've had a pretty long and trusted relationship here between our firm and the airport. We've been a tool and an asset to the airport, whether through our audit experience or our business advice, for many years now. Some simple facts in the past is that we've always met our state reporting deadline, never had any issues there. and your staff has always known that they can rely on us and expect to be treated with respect when they're dealing with us. And those sound like simple, basic things, but it's very frequently that we have new clients coming in or previous clients that left, went out, and came back because they did not find those simple things at other firms. And that's our motto: integrity, service, experience. You'll see that on the business card. It's something we pride ourselves on. Jeff's built that up with his firm over the last 15 years. And now with the merged firm, we're growing that. So some specific advantages or things that differentiate our firm from other firms is government accounting and auditing is what we do. Jeff has been on the FICPA's government committee for over 20 years, and he also writes the Special District Compliance Guide that the Auditor General approves every year. We're also involved with FASD, Florida Association of Special Districts, so we're very active. We get involved with legislation and advocate for special districts that we work with. Another key factor, if staying with us, there won't be a transition period. Moving to another auditing firm can put a lot of strain on your staff, and usually in the first 3 years of having a new auditor is the highest risk of fraud as well. Something else specific about our firm that might not be around at all the firms around here, all staff, no matter what level of experience they are, all receive the same training and certifications every year. So whether you're a CPA or not, they all attend the same amount of CPE as the CPAs and receive the same training and education, which is a nice thing to know that you'll be dealing with knowledgeable staff. So a little bit of a history lesson. This is a little before my time, and I think before many of your time as well. But back in 2004, to highlight what an asset we've been to the airport over the years, Hurricane Charlie came ripping through this area, and we came on site, not me personally, but we came on site to assist with recovery from that effort, and provided a lot of help to the staff with things like preparing the budget, and I believe they got a little involved as well with just day-to-day operations, since the staff was so overwhelmed, and there was a lot after Charlie that happened. The final point here, we tried to go beyond just the basic requirements of the audit, and things in that nature. So Jeff is always very involved throughout the entire process. He's the main partner. We have other partners now with the merged firm, but Jeff, being the lead partner for the audit, is always very involved throughout the entire process. So you're not just stuck dealing with staff or managers. You'll always have a partner that you can reach out to and be discussing issues with. We also help prepare the financial statements, and we make them easy to read and easy to follow to the best we can. GASB standards put a lot of things in there, but we do our best to keep it simple and easy to read. Finally is Jeff's detailed presentations at the committee, board commission meetings. He goes through the audit with you guys and brings those graphs along, and those aren't required, but it helps provide a lot of context and helps understand trends over several years, whereas when you're looking at the audit itself, you're only seeing 2 years. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Like I said, I try to keep it short and sweet for you guys. We're hoping that we can continue to be an asset to the airport as we have in the past. And that's all I have. So thank you.
Questions? I assume Jeff is going to stick with the company.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
yes,
not
absolutely.
retiring.
No, he's the lead audit partner. We have a second audit partner. She's actually the one kind of with the foot out the door. So we'll be looking to, fill that role, but Jeff is sticking around.
How long has he been doing it for us? How many years?
I forget the exact amount, but I believe it started sometime in 97 or 98. So we're talking
Long
20,
time.
25, 26 years, even further, at least.
Wow.
We did receive the printed proposal, which we all had access to, so there's more detail there.
Yeah.
Any other questions by commissioners? Chad?
Does HSC Tuscan, do you guys provide like additional training for the client? Do you have any of that available now with the larger firm?
Yeah, so that's something we used to do. Jeff used to do trainings like that. We've kind of gotten away from it in the last few years, especially with COVID. But that's something we have done in the past, and we can do in the future. We haven't recently, but, because no one's really asked for it. But that is something that we can do, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank
We'll
you.
be in touch.
Appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
Interesting question. Do we gonna allow all of them to come back in for the discussion, or, I mean, legally they could.
Yeah, I think that they can come back in for the discussion.
Is that okay with all you guys?
I think some of them may have left, but.
Yeah, I think I saw some of them back out.
If they're there, they can come in.
But while we're waiting, I'm gonna use the washroom real fast then. No?
No, I just have this summary.
I think the next step I just circled would be notes with their fees.
Yeah.
We can now,
All right.
you do discussion. You do discussion minutes?
Joel, generally, I think the board should do a preliminary ranking, and then they can discuss the rankings if you want. Jeff has been our auditor for, I think, over 25 years.
That's the question.
And I think he's done a great job for 25 years. He's the only auditor I've known at the airport for my entire career. I do know other airports, as Sarasota, you saw up there, has switched. They have a policy of switching auditors at least every 5 or 6 years, depending on their cycle. So, I mean, that's something to think about. It's not a requirement, but it does get a second set of eyes looking at things. And as we've grown, we're the only airport they look at. So, I'm not trying to influence, and I really like Jeff, and I would be happy to keep them with us for another number of years. But just something to think about as you make your decisions.
Are you allowed to vote?
No. That's why Chad's up there.
So you have the ranking sheets in front of you. Your firm that you liked the most would get a 1. The one that would be at the bottom of your list would get a 4. When we total them up, the firm with the lowest number will be the selected firm then.
It's like golf.
Like golf, yeah, the lower the better. All right.
Oh, we're supposed to vote?
And once you vote, or once we get the totals, then Chad and I will start the negotiation process to get a contract in place, and we'll bring that back to the next meeting. If we fail to come to an agreement with the number 1 firm, we'd go to the number 2 firm.
You're gonna do 3 years?
3 years, and I think we'll probably have an option.
Yeah, then do another cycle, one way or
Yep.
another.
Don't need to be taking Chad's.
It's
Chair.
hard to add up, 5.
That's why he's doing it, an
That's why
engineer
he's
doing
a-
it.
That's why he's the numbers guy around here, right?
So while we're waiting, the fence looks great around the maintenance operation. It looks like we've gotten all the dirt out of there at this point, right?
All the dirt's been moved from there.
Mr. Hansick, so you just need our,
Yeah, the sheet.
So where they'll start priming and painting that wall now, It will be PGD beige. I think Sherwin-Williams is actually going to give us our own number since we buy enough paint from them. And then we'll be doing that same style wall behind rental car as the terminal project goes along. If well, we can put, TSA is going to approve that. We may have to put barbed wire at the top, but it's just that wall, that fence constantly blows down when we get storms, so we'd like to put something there that's a little more secure in the future.
What's it supposed to withstand now? What's it supposed to withstand?
170.
Wow. I kept blowing down.
What's the chain link fence?
Yeah.
30, 40.
Yeah.
The problem is, if you put any kind of slats in the chain link fence to keep people from passing something through, it just degrades its ability to withstand.
Oh, that's interesting.
But, you know, the signs and everything that we have to put on fences usually cause the issue with either the chain falling off or the entire fence failing. Chad, you need,
Wind doesn't pass through chain link that well.
you would think it would, but it does not.
Yeah, during Ian, that entire stretch of fence between, behind the new rental car building ended up wrapped around all of the rental cars in that first row. That's where Waffle House was bringing their supplies in, over that fence, the day after Ian.
Okay.
What's the PVC fence at, about 2 miles now?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Why are you gonna buy some fence?
Oh, you just wait till every storm, you got all you want, it's all everywhere. PVC.
Should help protect the building.
Well, go ahead, it's your deal.
All right, well, we want to thank everybody for being here to present. Really appreciate the time and effort that you took to create your presentations, come here and be with us. So the #1 ranked firm is Cherry Beckert, followed by Tuscan, which is followed by CBiz, and then CLA. So we will work with Cherry Beckert to enter into an agreement and bring that contract to the board.
And if you can't come to agreement, then you go to #2.
That
We
usually,
usually-
correct.
Yep.
Usually the way it works.
And what was the third one?
CBiz,
Show you all that stuff. Okay. Anything else? All right, hearing none. Workshop is adjourned.
Special meeting. But
Oh, special workshop.